What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to your home for all things combat sports.
Yo.
So, Nick, the clock is ticking for Conor McGregor. He has now less than 48 hours to report to USADA, at least put in the paperwork saying that he's back in the testing pool if he is to fight this calendar year. The last event, UFC 296, is happening sometime in mid-December, and he has to give 6 months in the pool before he's eligible for the fight. So my question to you is, one, do you think he will get the paperwork in time? Do you think he can pass a USADA test at this time? And will we see Conor McGregor fight in 2023?
You know, I actually don't think we're going to see him fight this calendar year. I think 2024, we will have the return of the Mac. But as it sits right now, unless he's got really good Wi-Fi on his, yacht in Monaco, he might not even know that there's 48 hours ticking and talking unless somebody from his team is like, hey, Conor, you better,
get your paperwork in.
Yeah, get the paperwork out. Somebody go get a printer and print him out what he needs to sign. I think that this is unfortunate for Michael Chandler because Michael Chandler has done nothing wrong and deserves to fight the biggest draw in the sport like Conor McGregor. And I think that fight would be fireworks. But after filming The Ultimate Fighter, I know Conor went back to, Europe, where he's seemingly been on vacation and kind of enjoying his life with his family, as he's usually been doing over the past few years. So I could see Conor McGregor coming back in 2024, but not to fight Michael Chandler. I think he's going to watch and see how this BMF belt shakes out, and I think he likes his chances against Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje a lot more, and he always likes an opportunity at some form of a belt. I know this isn't a UFC gold belt, but Conor McGregor is the biggest star in the sport, and that means every time he fights, it needs to be in a main event slot, and that does feel a little bit weird when the UFC has maybe like a title fight on a Conor McGregor card, and that's not, that's not the last thing, but Conor McGregor is just for a standard fight for contendership. So I think they need Conor McGregor fighting for titles, and I think the best move they can do is have him wait for Dustin and Justin to finish fighting to determine who the BMF is, and then he could go in and step in to fight one of those guys. And of course, if he's able to get the BMF title, you could move Michael Chandler right in, and they can still fight each other sometime in 2024. But I think Michael Chandler's going to have to wait around if he wants to fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah, well, he's got the built-in storyline with Dustin Poirier. He feels very much like he has unfinished business with Dustin Poirier. He was doing well in that first fight until he got caught, and he was doing well in the second fight until he broke his leg. So obviously there's a great storyline that the UFC could run with. Dustin and Conor are two of the biggest stars in the sport right now. So a fight between them again with the BMF belt on the line would be huge, just like a fight between Conor and Justin Gaethje would be huge. A lot of people have clamored to see McGregor versus Gaethje for a long time now, not just because of the magnitude of the names, Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje, but also how that fight would probably play out. It would probably be an insane technical striking match that would be a lot of fun to watch. So I think Conor has a belt on the mind, and if it's not the undisputed welterweight belt or not the undisputed lightweight belt, the BMF belt is going to be it. And then on the other side of that coin is Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler said it himself, I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a good time. And he's not one to sit around and wait 6 months, 9 months, 12 months for a fight. Michael Chandler is going to get in there in 2023, whether it's against Conor or not, because he's in his late 30s now, and he's not going to be doing this for much longer, and he wants to put on exciting, meaningful fights no matter who the opponent is. Michael Chandler shows up to fight, whether it's against Conor McGregor or the newcomer that you've never heard of. So look to him to get a fight in 2023, and I think that will kick the can, so to speak, on McGregor versus Chandler, because he's going to be looking to the winner of this BMF title. And then obviously, I don't think anybody, us included, would argue that if Conor is able to defeat the winner of Justin versus Dustin, that Michael Chandler couldn't contend for that BMF belt sometime down the road. I don't think anybody would argue his position as a potential BMF.
No, definitely not. And I think Michael Chandler is a perfect candidate to fight whoever fights for the BMF belt next, because when we see the BMF belt getting moved around, and hopefully we do see it just continue to go from person to person, and no matter who that person's fighting, they need to make sure there's a BMF across from them so we can make sure this belt continues to move, because I think it's just such a fun one-off. It's such a unique thing in our sport. And if we're able to continue keeping it alive and keep the belt moving between hands and divisions, we've got something really special. And I think Michael Chandler would really look good as a BMF contender. And I don't see him ever touching UFC gold, but I could see him potentially getting his hands on that BMF belt.
Well said.